Russia fired missiles and drones at the Ukrainian-controlled southern city of Mykolaiv, demolished a block of flats and said in a spate of phone calls with Western defense ministers the war was trending, uncontrolled escalation. The strike in the shipbuilding town, some 35 kilometers, 22 miles, northwest of the front line in Kherson came as Russia ordered 60,000 people to flee the "to save your lives" region in the face of a Ukrainian counteroffensive. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu spoke about rapidly deteriorating situation in phone calls with British, French and Turkish counterparts, the ministry said. He also spoke by phone with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin for the second time in 3 days. The Pentagon said Austin told Shoigu he had rejected any pretext for Russian escalation. Without providing evidence, Shoigu said Ukraine could escalate by using a dirty bomb or conventional explosive with radioactive material. Ukraine has no nuclear weapons, while Russia has said it can protect its territory with its nuclear arsenal. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba dismissed the allegation as absurd and dangerous, adding, "Russians often accuse others of what they plan themselves." In a joint statement after the talks, Britain, France, and the United States said they were determined to support Ukraine for as long as it takes, and dismissed Russia's warning of a dirty bomb. Our countries made clear that we all reject Russia's transparently false allegations that Ukraine is preparing to use a dirty bomb on its own territory, they said. The world would see through any attempt to use this allegation as a pretext for escalation. Sunday's rocket attack in Mykolaiv obliterated the top floor of the apartment block and sent shrapnel and debris across a square and into neighboring buildings, Reuters witnessed. No deaths were recorded. After the first blast, I tried to get out, but the door was stuck, said Alexander Mezanov, 50, who was woken from his bed by the blasts. After a minute or two, there was a second loud blast. Our door was blown into the corridor. On Sunday, Ukraine's general staff said that air defenses shot down 12 of the Iran-made Russian Shahed-136 attack drones in the past 24 hours. Tehran denies arms sales to Russia. Britain's Ministry of Defense said Russia is using Iran's unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, to replace increasingly scarce Russian-made long-range precision weapons. But Ukraine's efforts to contain UAVs have been successful, the ministry added in its Twitter update on Monday. Ukraine's advances in recent weeks around Kherson and in the northeast of the country have been met with increasing Russian missile and drone strikes on civilian infrastructure, which destroyed about 40% of Ukraine's power system before the winter. On Monday, the region's Russian-installed administration announced the formation of a local militia, saying any men remaining in the city could join. Russian troops have withdrawn from parts of the front line and occupation authorities are evacuating civilians deeper into Russian-held territory ahead of an expected battle for Kherson, the regional capital on the west bank of the Dnipro River. Kherson is a gateway to Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. The situation today is difficult. It's vital to save your lives, Russian Education Minister Sergei Kravtsov said in a video message. It won't be for long. You will definitely return. Russian authorities installed there reported that at one point on Sunday there were not enough ships to take people across the river, blaming a sharp increase in the number of people wishing to leave. Around 25,000 people have been evacuated since Tuesday, the Interfax news agency said. The Ukrainian military said they were making gains in the south, taking over at least 2 villages that Russia had abandoned. Russia's defense ministry said on Sunday its forces continued attacks on Ukraine's energy and military infrastructure, destroying a major ammunition depot in the central Cherson region and repelling Ukrainian counteroffensives in the south and east. Reuters could not independently verify the accounts. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russian attacks on energy infrastructure had very wide dimensions. With the onset of the 9th month of war and approaching winter, the potential for freezing misery became apparent. Volodymyr Kudrytsky, head of Ukraine's national energy company Ukrenergo, said power was restored to more than 1.5 million customers after mass attacks on energy targets over the weekend. Moscow denies attacking civilians in so-called special military operation in Ukraine. Ukraine also accused Russia of obstructing a deal on grain exports across the Black Sea, saying its ports were operating at only 25% to 30%.